Have you ever wondered why your baby seems to be running a marathon while sleeping? Little legs kicking, arms moving, and even tiny smiles appearing in the middle of the night. Many parents think something might be wrong, but what's behind all this movement is much more fascinating than it seems. Contrary to popular belief, this restlessness doesn't mean discomfort, but rather a brain in full development. This discovery can completely change how you view your baby's sleep and help you handle those restless nights with a much lighter approach. When we think about baby sleep, it's important to remember that it's quite different from ours. During the first year, babies are still maturing their sleep patterns, which means they can be more restless than adults or older children. A baby's sleep cycle is much shorter, ranging from 50 to 60 minutes, and each phase brings with it a type of movement. So, if your little one is moving a lot at night, it could be a sign that they are going through these normal transitions from one sleep cycle to another. You might notice, for example, that the movements are more intense during daytime naps or early in the night. It's always important to observe your baby's behavior pattern, but remember that in most cases, this activity doesn't indicate any problems. If they're growing and developing well, these movements are just part of the journey. And, of course, this leads us to better understand how baby sleep works, which will be the next key point. A baby's sleep is quite different from an adult's. In the first few months of life, babies haven't yet developed a regular sleep cycle, meaning they spend more time in a state of light and restless sleep. Unlike adults, who experience long periods of deep sleep, babies alternate between phases of light and deep sleep several times throughout the night. This can explain why they seem to move so much. This irregular sleep cycle is completely normal, especially during the first 6 months of life. During these light sleep phases, the baby may appear almost awake. They move, make little noises, and may even open their eyes for a few seconds, only to fall back asleep shortly after. It's during this phase that many parents rush over to see what's going on, thinking the baby might be uncomfortable or about to wake up. But, most of the time, the baby is simply transitioning from one sleep phase to another. This doesn't mean they're hungry, cold, or hot, but that the natural sleep cycle is occurring. Over time, the baby begins to develop a more stable sleep pattern. Their biological clock adjusts to day and night, and the deep sleep phases become longer. This process can be slow and gradual, and every baby has their own pace. Understanding how sleep works helps us make sense of those restless nights, leaving us better prepared to handle the phases that follow, like REM sleep, which is crucial for brain development. REM sleep, also known as the dreaming phase, plays a vital role in baby's brain development. During this phase, the brain is extremely active, processing information and experiences from the day. For babies, this phase is even more intense, as they are in the midst of rapid brain maturation. It's during REM sleep that the baby's brain organizes memories, stimulates learning, and strengthens neural connections, all essential for cognitive and emotional development. This may explain why babies move so much during this phase. Their brains are in full throttle. An interesting aspect of REM sleep in babies is that they spend much more time in this phase than adults do. While we spend about 20% of our sleep in REM, babies spend up to 50%. This is because their brains are growing and developing at an accelerated pace. Movements like smiles, frowns, or even small jolts can be observed during REM, but this is perfectly normal. These movements reflect the high level of brain activity and are part of the maturation process. For parents, it can be intriguing and even a bit concerning to see so much movement while the baby sleeps. However, understanding that REM sleep is an essential phase for brain development can bring relief. Every movement and restlessness indicate that the baby's brain is developing in a healthy way. Now that we know how important this sleep phase is, the next step is to explore how we can help babies have a more peaceful and healthy night's sleep. Now that we understand the baby's sleep process and how it works, we can think about strategies to make this period calmer for everyone. One of the first steps is to establish a consistent sleep routine. This helps the baby recognize that bedtime is approaching and makes it easier to transition between sleep cycles. Small rituals, like a warm bath, gentle reading, or even a lullaby, can make a big difference. All of these signal the baby's brain that it's time to relax and prepare for sleep. Another important point is to create a sleep-friendly environment. Babies are sensitive to external stimuli, so ensuring the room is dark, quiet and at a comfortable temperature can help a lot. The use of white noise, such as the sound of a fan or specific apps, can also be helpful in blocking out external sounds that could disturb sleep. Additionally, a good mattress, appropriate for the baby's age, and comfortable, breathable clothing are part of this ideal environment. And if the baby continues to move a lot, remember that some level of movement is expected, but if you notice they're particularly restless, it might be a good idea to adjust the routine or check if they're experiencing any discomfort, such as colic or teething. Paying attention to changes in the baby's behavior and adjusting as needed is part of taking care of their sleep. Subscribe to our channel to keep receiving valuable content about your baby's development. Every week, we publish videos with guidance and updates that will help you navigate this phase with more ease and confidence. Turn on notifications to be alerted whenever something new is posted here. That way, you won't miss any tips and will always stay up to date with the latest on infant sleep.